Welcome to Ask When, everyone. This morning with me, I have Nate, and Nate is a podcaster himself, and I'm going to let Nate share his story, and I'm going to be asking him the general questions, and we're just going to have fun.
Yeah, absolutely. First and foremost, thank you so much for having me on your show. Um, you guys put on an amazing podcast. I was doing getting ready for this interview. I got to listen to some of your episodes and some of your other guests, and I'm just excited to be a part of it, man. You guys are on a roll and doing some really, really cool things.
Well, thank you. Thank you for saying that. We try, and I say we, Danielle and I try to inspire the able-bodied population to learn about cerebral palsy. Some want to learn, others do not, but that's okay. I I feel like others should be learning about cerebral palsy, but there there are some people that don't want to learn. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink, as they say.
Isn't
So
that the truth?
yeah.
Well, what I like about what you guys are doing is, I mean, certainly you're educating folks about cerebral palsy, but you're also um, catering to the cerebral palsy audience. You're also providing, like, there's plenty of people that either have cerebral palsy or know someone who does or know someone that deals with some of those kinds of issues. And you providing this platform and your message is just like it's your niche. It's cool to have such a cool niche.
Yes, and it's cool to have the legal name of Win, so I can
That's
use
pretty
it as
cool too,
well,
for sure.
I can use it as branding too. And so, Nate, could you please explain to my audience more about you and why you started your podcast?
Okay, sure. So my podcast is called The Extraordinary Podcast, and again, one of the reasons why I think you would be such a neat and Danny as well would be such great guests for the show is because you're ordinary people living extraordinary lives. That's our tagline, and that's what we try to do. Is I try to find and profile ordinary average people that you just would see on the street necessarily, wouldn't think necessarily anything special about them, but they're really doing some really incredible things, some really extraordinary things. And so I try to bring those stories to light with my podcast. And the way that it started was really, I was going through some personal development things and going through some personal issues in my own life, and I kind of was going through this, I call it that come to Jesus time where you're just trying to find some answers in your own life. And through that personal development process, I created a program called the 8 Keys to Great. And what that is essentially it's 8 steps on how to craft an extraordinary life. And so what I did, my background is in construction. I am not a podcaster by trade. I'm not a media or marketing guy. I never have been. I'm way more comfortable swinging a hammer than I am being in front of a microphone. Um, but through developing that program, I wanted to identify people that were exemplifying some of the concepts that I put together in this excuse me, in this 8 Keys to Great program. So what the 8 Keys to Great program is, I took how you would remodel your home and applied that to how you would remodel your life. And so you take the same steps of creating a blueprint and demoing and tearing out the old walls and then rebuilding stuff. And I took all those principles and applied it to rebuild to crafting a lifestyle by design. And so the podcast was a way to get people that I saw that had those characteristics that were doing some of those things and then profile them on the show and verify that the concepts that I was talking about actually work.
How cool is that? So you took the concept of remodeling a home to the human body.
Yeah, well, and even not just to the body, but just to lifestyle in general, to all aspects of your
Yeah.
life, to really like your personal, your health and your wellness, your physical, all the different your business, like how you really craft. And the big part of the business aspect is designing a career and a business that fits your lifestyle, that fits how you wanna live your day-to-day activities. I mean, like, for you guys, for example, you guys have built this lifestyle around podcasting that allows you to still be able to do all the things you wanna do. It still allows Danny to be able to go do that snowboarding. It still allows you to have more of your speaking engagements and bring more
Yeah.
awareness to cerebral palsy.
No, my stage is my computer at 6:30 in the morning. My stage the earliest I get on the stage is 4:30 AM for international waters. But,
Well, I
my
meant to compliment both of you on being here, alive, and on time, and ready to go at
yeah,
6:30 AM for you guys. That's
I,
early, I know.
my I used to I wanted to travel so bad, and I still do. I wanted to travel so bad and be a digital nomad and do all that stuff. But now with everything that's going on, I'm like, okay, this is not going to work. We might as well pivot. We might as well accept that my stage is going to be my podcast. We might as well just accept that I'm not going to travel. I'll travel with a mask like everyone else, but I am not going to travel in the way I thought I was going to travel. But I might as well just accept that my stage is a computer.
Yeah. Well, I like the idea of pivoting. And like for me and my podcast, before COVID hit, we did all in-person interviews. Every interview I had was in person, and that was kind of a rule for me. I wouldn't do um remote broadcast interviews. Now, before COVID hit, I began to realize that that wasn't a long-term viable solution. So I actually had begun taking steps to do these types of interviews before COVID hit. But we did pivot when COVID hit, and we did go to um, this format of interviewing, and so we did make some changes. But what I don't want to do, and what I'm not willing to do, is accept like what you're saying, that this is the new norm, or that things are just gonna not, or that we're gonna lose some opportunities out of that. I'm not willing to accept that. I'm willing to go out on a limb and say that you will travel, and that you will travel without a mask, and that things
Yeah.
will go back to a new normal, because I
No,
believe that that has to happen. I believe that we need to get back to where we were, and I'm not willing to just accept that masks are the new norm now, and that this COVID virus, that was scary at first, and it presented a lot of challenges, isn't what we thought it was. And I'm not willing to accept the fact that that we're gonna have to completely change our lifestyles now because of this disease.
I am not, and I'll tell you guys this, I am not willing to accept the fact that I will be trapped in this house for a year. I want to travel. I will
Yes.
travel, and I want to um, travel with mask or no mask. I keep teasing on my fan base, Nate. I'll say when the vaccine gets approved and put in doctor's office, I'll be the first one with my carry-on and my suitcase, and I'll line up at my doctor's door and say, "Give me that mask. I'm on my way to the. Give me that shot. I'm on my way to the airport." And
Yeah.
I keep teasing everyone. I'll be walking in my doctor's office. I swear, with my
Mhm.
carry-on and my suitcase, and I'm like, "Give me that shot because I want it and I need it." And apparently, it's going to be for people at high risk and the elderly population. Well, I'm at high risk. I have cerebral palsy, so that's why I've been trapped at home for as long as I have. But I also feel like this is not going to stop me doing what I'm doing, and this is not going to stop me having my speaking stage be my computer.
Yeah, awesome. That's what I love to hear. I love the idea that, yeah, okay, it's messing us up for a minute and it's going to screw things up for a little while, but it's not going to stop us. It's not going to stop us from
No,
living our dreams, and
it's
it's
not.
not going to stop us from accomplishing our goals. I was curious. You used the term digital nomad. Are you a Tim Ferriss fan?
I am, although I haven't read the, 4-Hour Work Week, although I do listen to Tim Ferriss on the occasion, and I so badly want to be a digital nomad because I feel like one, I feel like the special ed system, and I'm a retired educator, so I know my special ed system like backwards and forwards. I feel like the special ed system and all the educators right now are being so interesting because they're being tossed every which way, and the schools are like, we do it one way this week, we do it another way the next week. And I just want to give all my educator friends, and I mean this, I just want to put my boots on the ground wherever they are, whether it be Florida, Georgia, the Florida Georgia line, or whether it be in Colorado. And I just want to take them, give them a massive hug, give them $1,000 in cash, and because teachers don't get paid very high, and then I'll say, I'll take your kids for a half an hour so you can go and get some work done in peace. And then I'll teach your kids for a half an hour about diversity. That is something I so want to do. And I so want to do. And
I think
that
you
is,
should.
is
It's like a teacher's built-in babysitter kind of
oh,
thing. I
no,
love it. I think
no,
it's a brilliant idea.
I have been I have been the babysitter so much. Um, Now it's so funny because when I was at my first job, not this last job, teachers would literally run out the door when they saw me come in because they knew, and at the time I was teaching preschool, they knew that I was their relief. So I would walk in the door, they would run out the door, and they would already have their coats on, and they would run out the door. And I never quite figured it out. Well, now sitting here in the media standpoint, I never quite figured out why that they would run out the door every time they saw me. And it's not because they didn't like me; it's because the kids stressed them out and they needed to step outside.
They're taking advantage for sure.
They were taking advantage of me,
Absolutely.
but,
Hey,
it's
Win,
so funny.
can you pause real quick? My battery from my, computer's about to die. I need to
Yeah,
run downstairs and grab my charger and plug it
yeah,
in. Would that
okay,
be okay? Would you mind real
okay,
quick?
that
Give me
would
give me
be
just 2 seconds.